Three, two, one.
Who's
Hello,
free?
ladies and gentlemen. We are live. We are here, and we are listening to He Who Comes Out of the Wilderness. And we have a Batman. Yay, Batman.
Hello. Yay.
And just to warn everybody, today may well be considered the Babylon B edition. Before we do, I would just like to put out a shout out to someone who nobody here will probably know. But a shout out to a Jacqueline Watson. You don't need to know why, I was just asked to do this. Okay then. Nomad, you would like to make people's brains go melt.
Well, since some audience members have been yipping at my heels because they want me to come on the stream so they can quote unquote take the piss out of me. Not sure how that's really going to happen, but you feel free.
Nobody ever does that though, Slow Dad.
No, not pretty much. I mean, people can try to take the piss out of me, but you got to assume that. Well,
The piss that you take.
let me know when I care. Okay.
He's checked his back pockets and he can't find any fucks to give, I have to admit.
Yeah, we didn't make that 5-minute rule, did we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to remember you devoutly believe in the free speech thing.
I do. I don't care. You know that.
No, it's not free speech he believes in, it's cheap speech.
Ah. So his speech, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Inexpensive.
Yes.
Free for everyone. Advice for everyone. Okay, and of course the big story that's out there for everybody. Right? We all know what's been hanging out there is the Kyle Rittenhouse story. So
Yes.
the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. So let's get right to this. Let's go to the Babylon Bee. 8 critical errors made by the Rittenhouse prosecutors. Right? Kyle Rittenhouse's guilt as a white supremacist, terrorist, violence-inciting murderer is obvious. That's why the prosecution team for the state of Wisconsin has been so sharply criticized for botching what should have been a layup case. Here are some critical errors made by the prosecutors that may allow the mass murderer the freedom to do even more mass murdering. 1. Forgetting to go to law school. Sources say they learned to be lawyers while watching episodes of Suits.
Leave that.
2.
Yeah, that bit wasn't parody.
No, that's the thing.
Neither's this one. 2. Letting their star witness tell the truth. Hours of training him to lie in court down the drain.
The third one's true.
The star witness gets up there, folks, and goes, "Yeah, I ran at him with a gun. Well, did he shoot you? No, he didn't shoot you until I raised the gun." Yeah, that's good.
He warned us.
I think what they was going for was they were trying to confuse the defence into sitting there going, whose side are we on? And they just got a bit lost and then just carried on giving it to the defence, let's be honest.
Google, what does self-defense mean during the trial?
Yeah, that's actually real as well.
Bad, isn't it?
Hold on, this isn't a parody.
Getting mixed up and thinking they were on the defense team for the first 2 days.
Telling the jury to look at the evidence. Oops. Sorry, I just took the best one from you.
No, the best one's the next one. Bribing the judge with celery instead of cookies.
Oh, yeah.
That mistake alone could have cost them the case. Taking duck lip selfies in front of the jury box during opening arguments. The selfies look great, it just seemed like bad taste, you know? And then the final one, pointing a gun in everyone's face. That may work in other courts, but not in this one.
This is parody, people, but it's disturbingly real. It really is. All right.
It is,
Go on,
and for Ms. Murder, right? Who called it? She said that Kyle Rittenhouse was going to be let off. I thought that the jury was going to be a hung jury, right? All the signs.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I thought the jury was going to be a hung jury if they voted there to let him off.
Yeah, as they hang the jury.
They'll be hung. There were. I said that on air. I said that to everybody what I thought it was going to be. I even told my wife that because there's 7 women on the jury, that it's going to be a hung jury because there's a woman in there that wants to punish him.
Yeah.
There's also a woman in there that wants to get home to watch her soaps.
Well,
Also true.
You noticed that they made the decision Friday. They didn't want to spend the weekend.
Yeah. If I'd have been there, I would have been the ass that keep arguing so that they stayed there for the entire weekend.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. You are that much of an ass at the best of times, aren't you? Come on.
No, because I'd also not make sure that I didn't send an innocent person to prison or a guilty man free.
Bro.
Well, but see, that's you try. That's not being an ass. That's just doing your job. Doing your duty. The thing is in this case, it was obvious. If you watched this case, if you saw any of the evidence, it was obvious he was defending himself. And the fact that you saw the reaction from some people, right, where there are people like, the murderer got free. They let this murderer go free. It's obvious you don't know what murder is.
It's even worse, MC. It's the murder of those 3 black men got set free.
Oh yeah, that part's kind of funny. There are people out there. The people that were supposed to, well, the 2 that were killed and 1 that lost the top of his arm were apparently black. In case you didn't know, I bet this must have been a confusion.
Jenson, there are not just people out there who believe this. There are people out there in positions of authority who believe this.
It's absolutely insane, right?
It is,
and that's why I thought, honestly, this is why I thought that it would be a hung jury. It shouldn't have been. It should have been a deliberation of less than an hour and come back and said not guilty. That's what it should have been. All right. The fact is that they kept. You knew that there were people that were in that jury. I guarantee you they wanted to get him on something. They could not. They could not. They considered the fact that he dared shoot people that were killing, shooting, and burning. And were coming after him with blood in their eyes. Okay, that somehow this guy should have just stood there and took it, right?
Yes.
There's an old song. There's an old.
Right, MC. They wanted him hung because he's a straight white male.
There's an old song, right, by Ken Rogers, right, Kenny Rogers, called "Coward of the County," right. And that's what they want. All right, is no, the guy shouldn't be like that. Okay, in the case of the old song, right, his girlfriend / wife, gets raped by these 3 guys.
It was his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, and so he goes.
I saw the movie.
And so he goes there and now in the thing he kills them. Okay. In the song, he kills these guys. He goes over to the freaking door, locks the door so they can't get away, and then kills them.
Yeah, and it was during the war in the film.
All right, that's how it should have been. The idea that somehow, when justice isn't done, all right, and let's be perfectly honest, you have idiots that were like, he should have called the police. Where? It's a riot. The police are standing around going, that looks pretty bad. What were the police doing? Were they trying to stop anything? No. Were they getting involved in any of this? No. This had been going. People are acting like this hadn't happened the day before and the day before that. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to defend your property as well. That's how I feel. And if you can't get that through your freaking tiny little freaking brains, that you think it's okay, all right, to allow people to burn, pillage. Here, you want to know what it's like when you do that? Here you go. Video shows decimated San Francisco Louis Vuitton store after a massive smash and grab robbery. Multiple suspects have been arrested in the Louis Vuitton store in San Francisco that was hit by thieves. I guess because those bags are above the $900 limit. You know?
Yeah, that's the problem. They are.
All right. Social media video shows some of the chaos that unfolded the night. Smashed store windows, people and police running in the street. The store in Union Square looked completely empty, apparently ransacked by robbers. Now, you got to give these guys credit. At least they're masking up.
Oh, that's it. They're obviously good citizens that wear masks. Nothing to say there.
They're not only are they wearing masks, you got to give these guys credit.
Well, look, that guy there in the white shirt.
This guy?
He's the thick one of the group because he's got his mask on backwards.
No, he actually did this right. They all pretty much did. Notice
they all
have
the one in the white.
They all have
that one there in the white shirt. The one in the white shirt. I mean, look, the other two. Now they've got the masks on. You can see their eye holes, right? This guy, his holes are on the back of his mask.
Well, the mask is one of those see-through things where you can't see into it, but outside of it. But they all have gloves on. Notice this?
Or like I'm saying, which is more likely because it's Antifa. He's got his mask on backwards.
Possibly. All right.
Because he's looking cool, yo. Yeah, that's right. I just used that.
And then if you think that this is, to me, this happened right after the verdict, right? This is a response to the verdict more than anything else. People don't.
Well, it would have been exactly the same as the verdict and gone the other way.
That's unfortunately true. I have said that.
Right.
Oh, you want to see what's going to happen with a verdict? Well, wait till you see what's going to. We'll talk about a story in a minute here. But and if you think it's just isolated, well, what do you have here? We have a Nordstrom's where looting involved 80 people.
Wow.
New video shows a large police presence at Walnut Creek Saturday night, where witnesses say about 100 looters targeted Nordstrom's. The incident was first reported at 8:46 p.m. while the store was still open, according to the police. A manager at a nearby restaurant says his stunned customers watched as thieves grabbed merchandise, loaded it into waiting cars, and drove off. The manager described the chaos. We probably saw 50 to 80 people in ski masks, crowbars, and a bunch of weapons. They were looting Nordstrom's right here. And I thought, we're going to start beating cars. I had to start locking doors to lock the front door, to lock the back door, said P.F. Chang's manager, Brett Barrett. All right. Dude, you're lucky you don't get sued for endangering their lives for violating fire code in California. Because that's the kind of dumbass shit that they'll do. Now, what were we going to say? What were you going to say, Batman?
Sean says this is what happens. What's happening these days is a result of not beating your kids. I'll go further. What's happening these days is a result of police officers not being able to a lippy kid a good clip around the ear hole.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. And this goes back, like I said, to the Rittenhouse trial, right? But don't worry, it's not over. It's not over. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, prosecutors find a mail-in jury votes at 3 a.m. Rittenhouse is now guilty.
You know they would try and do that if they could.
Go ahead, Batman.
Yeah, a bunch of dead people voted that he's guilty.
Yeah, that's
and people from alternate universes.
In a stunning reversal, Kyle Rittenhouse awoke this morning to discover he'd been found guilty after all. Prosecutors explained that during the night they had found dozens of mail-in jury votes, declaring the defendant guilty on all counts. Apparently, boxes of these mail-in votes arrived in a truck at the courthouse around 3 a.m. Attorneys for the Rittenhouse were dumbfounded as to how such a thing could have happened, raising questions of the validity of the mail-in jury voting.
Do you know what would have been do you know what would have been a funnier parody article? Yeah.
Oh.
Kyle Rittenhouse this morning discovers he's a victim of a rather sick and twisted hidden camera stunt that convinced everybody that he was found innocent when in fact he was found guilty.
By the way, just as a little point, your thing about writing and jury and things, it wouldn't actually shock me if this actually does become a thing. I'm being serious now, okay? I'm not messing around. I really would not be too shocked to find out that there would be mail-in voting.
Oh, no. With the juries and everything, it wouldn't surprise me if they attempted to do that, right? And you want to talk about people that if you had tried to have a jury that was watching this on a virtual case where they weren't, in a group, if you're trying to do it as an individual, nothing would change. Whatever the jurors came in with would make literally no difference to anybody because they wouldn't be even looking at the freaking evidence. They wouldn't even have turned on the half the time they turn the camera off and then they go over to the television and watch what's on the stream channel today, right? And go watch whatever they were streaming and then come back.
Or playing a video game.
Or play a video game, Minecraft.
Yeah.
Shoot the white supremacist. Well, that's a new one. Let's try that one. I mean, that's the kind of crap.
What's your opinion on Kyle Rittenhouse? They really could have tried hard to get out of the way of that death claw.
Oh God, you're so right.
The son of the Ender Dragon. Folks, it's sad, but you want to know when the real writing is going to take place? The real writing is going to take place when this goes off. Judge denies mistrial in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Georgia judge on Friday denied the defense's motion for a mistrial in the murder trial of 3 men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery last year. Kevin Goff, the attorney for the William Rhodey Bryan, asked for a mistrial, saying that the woke left mob outside the courtroom were influencing the jury. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported. Third parties are influencing this case. They are doing it from the gallery in this courtroom. They are doing it out from outside. This is what a public lynching looks like in the 21st century. It doesn't matter how many people are outside. It doesn't matter how violent they appear to be. It doesn't take much. You've got witnesses and juries who are worried about their careers and livelihoods when this case is over, and they are well aware of what is going on. And this is very true. Now, one of the things is there have been a number of high profile people, including the Reverend Al Sharpton, sitting in the front row with the mother and the family members of the victim who died. All right, what's he there for?
His wife told him she wanted some China loan.
This race hustler is all about race hustling. Now, let's talk about the facts of the case, the actual facts of the case.
Oh, God, how was it race hustling? Everybody involved in the... You're talking about Rittenhouse?
No, I'm talking about Aubrey.
Oh.
Yeah. I do have something I would like to say, if it's all right. Mm-hmm. Matt has made this comment, and I don't know if this is legal, but I'm going to trust your knowledge of the American law system damn sight more than mine. Apparently, they want to bring the DOJ on him. Can they do that?
If they say that they were violating his civil rights, yeah, because that's a federal crime.
Look, I'm going to say it again. Your country is seriously screwed. You
got to remember, we don't have people don't understand the bifurcated legal system that we have in this country. And when I say bifurcated, it's not really bifurcated. It's not.
It's fucked up.
There are multiple things about this. One, there's a difference between the state and the federal. Two, there's a difference between criminal and civil.
Yeah.
Okay. you have different layers of these court systems, okay, and they all interact to a degree, okay. The federal courts lately, since the 1960s, have been, in my opinion, way out of bounds and getting involved in cases that should have been left to the states, and they never should have brought some of this stuff up. And it's been that way since the 60s. And this has been part of the problem. This is one of the issues where you end up with federal overreach, because the federal courts have been involving themselves in things that they had no business involving themselves into. And instead of people saying, hey, wait a minute, what's the result of all this? People have just, as long as they got what they felt was the right verdict, they didn't care. They don't see the damage to the overall system. There was a reason why courts, the state courts used to be far more powerful than they are today. Right now, everything is immediately ran up to the feds. And what has been happening, of course, is the left really quickly learned that if they could dominate just a couple of appeal courts, they could push their freaking agendas through. Where they couldn't do it through legislation, they could push it through court rulings. And that's what they've been doing. And they took over a couple of courts. The one that they took over first, and the one that's still infested, right, is the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the Ninth Circuit is just an absolute den of heinousness. And I'm not joking about this. These people, when the Supreme Court takes up cases from the Ninth Circuit, over 80% of the time they overturn the rulings.
So what you're saying here is that the Ninth Circuit is a bit iffy.
A bit iffy? The problem is, of course, is you can't take every single case that comes to an appeals court when you've got like 12 or 13, or what is it, 14 appeals courts. The Supreme Court can't rule on each and every ruling that these 14 courts are doing on their own. So they have to set aside cases and only look at the cases that, they think have import. The problem is so much of that left is nonsensical shit that it just starts getting inculcated, and then because the court decided not to review it, it just starts to ball, because you have something called precedents. And if you let things stand on precedents, they sit up there and start mentioning those precedents in a wider and wider scale.
Yeah.
I've said this from the very beginning. It goes back, more than anything else, the single demarcation point where the federal courts way overreached, okay, starts with the Miranda ruling. Now, I know a lot of people like that. They like the fact that the police have to read you your rights. There's nothing wrong with the police reading your rights. You're right, there's nothing wrong with the police reading your rights, but there's something wrong about the courts mandating it. The fact that you don't know your rights is not the fault of the court. It's not the fault of the state. All right? It's not the fault of Mary Jane down the street. It's your fault. If you don't know what the law is, you can't use the excuse, well, I wasn't told what the law is. But you can use that excuse about the law of the land, the Constitution of the United States. You have responsibilities as a citizen in this country to at least know your constitutional rights. Now, if a state wants to sit there and put in a mandate that says when the police arrest somebody, they have to sit up there and read them the rights, I'm all for that. Okay? I really am. But I'm not for a court issuing that and saying, no, we're going to mandate it.
Yeah. I read him his rights, Your Honor. Yes, officer. But the man was unconscious at the time.
What's wrong with that?
At some point, he's got to be conscious in order for you to sit up there and actually take him to trial to convict him. So I don't have a problem with this issue.
When I kneeled on his chest, he said yes, he had heard me. Or at least it sounded like it.
Everything I hear these days, especially the likes of the Rittenhouse trial, convinces me more and more that we want to get rid of the police, get rid of the courts, and just have the judges.
Yeah, that's and what will the result be? Something similar to this, to be honest.
No, it won't, because they will be the police, they'll be the judge, the jury, and the people who carry out the fucking sentence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we'll be like Haiti. As
No,
Hades'
it'll be
crisis
worse.
worsens, all right,
No,
rising
no,
numbers
no,
flee to
no,
the sea.
MC, you'll be worse.
Probably.
You ever read Judge Dredd?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have read Judge Dredd. All right, Haiti.
Yeah,
Nothing but darkness around them. Darkness and desperation. We are lost. The captain told 4 dozen men, women, and children tightly squeezed together on a flimsy wooden boat somewhere in the Caribbean. There is no hope. Jeff Pierre thought of the 2-year-old son he left back in Haiti. He imagined what it would be like for the boy to grow up without a father and started crying. It's been 4 days since the boat set sail from the coastal city near the tip of Haiti's southern peninsula in late September. All those on board had managed to scrounge together $250 for a trip to the United States.
Of a city called Jeremy.
You know, it's a small fortune for in a country where the majority of the population lives on less than $2 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
It just proves we don't know we're born.
Well, there's that, and the fact that these people. Look, I'm not trying to justify anybody's actions or anything. What I'm trying to point out is like, look, if you want to, if the Haiti is a cesspit, how are you going to fix it?
It would no, MC. I disagree with you there. Haiti is not a cesspit. It would need to clean it up a lot to be a cesspit.
Yeah. I agree there, man.
Yeah.
What would it take to fix it?
Nuke.
It would take time. It would take somebody going back in time and totally rewriting their history.
By the way, I was serious, Nomad.
And so was I.
A nuke. I'm not joking. That place, as Batman said, this place is worse than a cesspit, but we'll actually treat it as that, as it's pretty much as bad as we're going to get descriptively. This place is worse, barely, but worse than California.
Jenson.
Yeah.
Jenson. No, a nuke is not the answer, because a nuke wouldn't fix Haiti. It would destroy Haiti. It would also wreck a hell of a lot of the other Caribbean island. What you need is daisy cutter bombs.
I'm not trying to be snarky about this. I'm serious.
We're not being snarky.
In order to fix this country, you would have to go in there, all right, and take total control of these people's lives.
Yes.
What, like Grenada?
No, but far more than Grenada. Like what we did to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like what we did to Germany after World War II. That's what it would take. You'd have to go in there and
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We give half of it to Russia. Gotcha.
That was not given that we did not give half of Germany to Russia. We made some mistakes with that. No, we did not.
More. Look at the maps.
Well, it depends.
They got the best bit.
Did they?
They got the best bit. Yeah, we got the bits with the Germans in it.
I think it has more to do with the fact that the bits we had became more powerful. But you have to go in there and take total control of these people's lives. For decades. Not just for a day or two. For decades. And I mean total control of their lives. And not the we're there in Iraq and we've been there for 20 years, you know. No, we didn't take control of people's lives in Iraq. I'm talking about doing what we did in World War II, right after World War II, where we sit up there and told people where they will live, where they will work, when they will get up to go to work, when they'll go to sleep, and when they'll go to work, right? How they will get to work.
Yeah, if I'd have been in charge of post-war Germany, the Allied plans, you know, I would have done, just to be a sarty twat. Mm-hmm. I would have, all of the Germans, little yellow swastikas on their clothes. See how they like it.
No, I'm going to semi-defend the Germans here. All right. Yeah, I know, it seems weird. But I understand you would do that, but I would do that to the Nazis, not the Germans. After all, the Nazis weren't necessarily the Germans. The Germans
No.
just went along with it in the desperate hope that they didn't get screwed over by it.
Yeah, well, the actual non-outnumbered the Nazis, so they're just as complicit as the Nazis because they went along with it when they could have done something.
No, I understand there is the whole thing about all it takes for evil to expand is for good people to do nothing. I understand and I accept that, mate.
Yeah.
But equally, you've got to think there are times where people are just too damn scared. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just pointing out.
It was a confluence
Okay.
of events, and not the least of which is it was a time frame when the populace as a whole, okay, because of their society as a whole, was compliant. Okay.
Yeah, it's because they needed the country as a whole needed a scapegoat for all the shit that was going wrong. A scapegoat that they could actually get their hands on, because you couldn't get their hands on the great powers at the time. They were the great power. So, let's blame the Jews. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, hold on a second. It's more than just that. All right, you got to understand the German mentality at that time frame, which was very much still if the leaders tell you to do something, you do it.
What do you mean at that time frame? It's still like that over there.
To an extent, all right, but not the way it was, but back in the 1940s, not in the 1930s. In the
Just
1930s,
the
it was
same.
it's a lot better now. All right, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's better than it was by degrees.
Surface, but the riots they have in Germany, that's because some of the leaders in Germany tell these people to riot.
There's an aspect of the father leader that the Germans have always had. They've always been like that. But the Japanese as well. To be honest, they're still very much.
Which is why that's why I think in the next generation the Borg should have a German accent.
That's not necessarily wrong. No, seriously though, they actually enjoy being told what to do. It sounds strange, but they're happy that way.
Well, yeah, because it takes decision making off the table. Just making a decision is hard, right? You know that from the military.
Oh yeah.
When you go in the military, people don't realize this. If you've been in the military for a long period of time, though, when you get out, one of the first things that you realize is I never had to make this decision before.
One thing we learned quickly when I was a kid, my dad was stationed in Germany 2 or 3 terms, so it's a good chunk of my childhood. Germans go on holiday. I mean, we go on holiday, right? Germans go on holiday. It's organised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay.
No, I mean, it's like a military operation organised.
Yeah.
Okay. This is bad because
we go on holiday. Yeah. It's a mess. But we enjoy it.
You want to see the difference?
Holidays.
Go ahead.
Holidays are not there for you to enjoy. They're for you to go along and sit on the beach, eat ice cream, and then go back to your place where they're storing you. Well, that is what a holiday is. Do what you're told.
The funniest thing about Germans, right, that I was laughing about is when they line up in a queue. Okay. They stand there. They don't look around. They don't say hi to their neighbors. They stand there in a line like you were standing in line at the mess hall in basic training.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The best thing is if you go past them playing the German national anthem, you see all these hats getting knocked off people's heads.
and the thing is you look at that and you're like, because Americans are busy talking to their friends. Yeah, you're in line, you're just chatting away. Right?
So, that's us.
But I imagine the British are the same way, right? But the Germans.
we're harsher than the Americans with people who cut in line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, Americans we tend to like our space, so when we
Like,
queue up, we have
in
a lot of
the,
space between there. But the Germans will try and that's not a space. We'll cut in there. And Americans, that is one thing Americans don't tolerate is you don't get in with somebody. Now somebody invites you in, that's a different story. But if you're not invited in,
Yeah.
you don't cut in line.
that's generally the rule over here, apart from in the UK. If
Yeah.
if you cut in line, yeah, you can get taken to court, and that's a death sentence, mate. You're gonna get hung.
You have actually committed a sin in Britain doing that. It's so funny. We do lines, and and I know that sounds like cocaine, but no, we actually do stand in the queue far better than almost any other country apart
Yep.
from Germany.
It's amazing. Anyway, let's get on to the next
There
story.
was one about a guy pickpocket. He was waiting in line for the post office and to get his benefits. So yeah, see how old this one is. Guy noticed him. He's pickpocketed. He goes, "What are you doing here?" "Yeah, I haven't picked anybody's pocket." So he goes, "Don't be daft. I'm waiting in line."
Yeah. Yeah, he's not working. He's waiting in line. This is how it's meant to be.
Okay, Penn State student from New Jersey dies in trash chute plunge.
For a minute there, I thought it said trans shoot plunge.
No.
I knew it.
A Penn State student and former high school cheerleader, like that makes any difference, fell 11 stories to her death in a trash chute after allegedly having a bad reaction to a smoke. The body of the 19-year-old Justine Gross of Summit, New Jersey, all right, that was discovered last week when a trash hauler emptied its load at a Pennsylvania landfill, her mother told NewJersey.com on Thursday. Francois Gross said her daughter, a communications sophomore at the school in State College, Pennsylvania, ended up plunging from a chute into a dumpster where she lived at the Beaver Terrace Apartments, about a block from the campus. The shattered mom said that Justin's roommates told her that her daughter had just met a young man 2 days earlier who gave her a smoke before the fatal fall. Now, stop right here. Okay? The guy giving her a quote-unquote smoke, you knew it had to be drugs. Okay? And I understand this.
Hold on. Knowing how fragile teenagers are these days, it could have just been tobacco.
Really?
And she committed suicide out of guilt because she's damaging the atmosphere.
But that's not where it gets me. If her roommates saw this and they saw her jump down a freaking trash chute, why did they wait?
Did she jump down it? I mean, yeah, you have a bad reaction to something somebody's giving you. Don't jump down a fucking trash chute.
Damn it. I'm okay with that.
Well, they say that this is what happened, all right?
No.
But they didn't tell anybody about this until the morning when the trash truck tried to pick this woman up out of a trash bin. This is shady, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Just
oh, yeah, she
updates.
went down the thing. Here, passed it. Dude, oh, man, is she back
Yeah.
yet?
Yeah. She stabbed herself 17 times in the back and shot herself in the head.
Oh, my God, she knew
almost
about the Clintons.
A man believed also to be a student who lives on the 7th floor of the apartment told Justine's mom that her daughter ran to the top floor and jumped into the chute after taking the unspecified drug. Okay. She came down, I gave her a smoke, and she said she had a really bad reaction or a panic or whatever. He was trying to take her back to her apartment on the 10th floor. Sure he was. Okay. Police have said that Gross' death appears to be accidental. Bullshit! Okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you don't sit up there and not report something like this, alright, to the police, alright? You wait for the trash haulers to find her dead body?
You at least upload the video to YouTube.
No, let's be honest, okay?
Do so.
I can actually I reckon that what happened was the trash man looked at it, looked at her and went, someone's trying to wear a perfectly good white bitch. And that was the problem.
Hey, the thing is,
What?
if she'd hit it right, no, I'm being serious here. If she'd fallen in at the right angle, right, got buried in just the right amount of track, they might not have even discovered even after they emptied it in the landfill because she would have all been covered with trash all the time.
It's very possible, and the fact that
Hey, it's amazing how many people have hidden bodies in landfills and gotten away with it for years.
Yeah.
no,
Not like the gangsters ever did that back in the 20s and 30s. Oh, no, not much.
Jimmy Hoffa's still alive.
Well,
He just lives out in the desert and calls himself Ben Kenobi now.
No, he
Believe
doesn't.
that.
He watches the football game every Sunday from underneath the goalpost. Anyway.
Oh God! No, I just give myself the desire to alter the original Star Wars movie so that all the rebels speak with that 1930s gangster accent.
That would be kind of different, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
would actually.
Portraying the rebels as 1930s gangsters and put a fedora on top of Darth Vader.
Yeah, they're all wearing the double-breasted. They're all wearing the double-breasted suits and everything. And C-3PO's got one of those pencil-thin mustaches.
Back to the Babylon Bee, folks. Back to the Babylon Bee. We have another story. Rittenhouse and Sandman agree to share joint custody of CNN. Oh, I hope this is true. All right. With Rittenhouse found not guilty, media outlets across the country are preparing for costly defamation lawsuits after a year of calling him a white supremacist. With CNN already half owned by Nick Sandman, the famous fake news organization will soon be given the other half of its ownership to Kyle Rittenhouse. The two have agreed to share joint custody. We would like to announce that our clients to have come to an agreement to share joint custody of CNN, said Sandman and Rittenhouse's legal teams. Sandman will be in custody of weekdays, and custody is transferring over to Rittenhouse for holidays and weekends. After the announcement, Rittenhouse began weeping upon realizing he now a multi-millionaire, while Sandman smirked like a big MAGA hat-wearing jerk face. Neither party has decided what to do with Brian Stelter, who may have been put up for adoption.
The only thing Sandman's got to worry about is his constant battles with Spider-Man.
Really?
I'm amazed. Nobody's picked up on that.
No, we picked it up. We just chose to put it down and walk away from it going, dude, we're not that bad.
Yeah,
But then you come along.
Yes, Jenson, you really are that bad.
Folks, you can't make... to be honest, I'm hoping that Kyle Rittenhouse does go after these people. And I would name specific individuals, and I would go after their careers permanently. All right? Brian Stelter is just one of them. But Joey Reid from MSNBC, she needs to go.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The entire cast of The View, right? They need to be hammered on this.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody made a comment.
Cenk Uygur has to go.
Yeah, Cenk is. Let's be honest. Cenk is a walrus. Okay.
Yeah, but
he's just a fat walrus without any tusks. He's a toothless freaking walrus that's always ever been.
You mean he's a manatee in a toupee?
Yeah, Nomad, come on, man. Are you telling me you don't want to see that try and slump its way up to the podium? That has got to go to court. That would be hilarious. That would be so humiliating for him. It would be worth it. It really would. Am I an evil git? Yes. Do I care? No.
I'll tell you why I disagree with that. You assume the man has shame. He doesn't. Okay? It wouldn't affect him any way, shape, or form because the man is absolutely shameless. The guy's a piece of vermin.
MC, you don't have to have the ability to feel shame to feel humiliated.
But he won't feel humiliated.
He will.
Fortunately, he's probably right.
No, he doesn't. To him, he's the guy is able to convince himself that he is martyred, and he has a martyr complex. He will not feel any kind of guilt, any kind of remorse.
He will, because me and Jensen while he's standing there waiting to be called into court, will cut his pants off him.
He will then.
I'll come off it.
He will,
If he walked into court with no pants on, no one would see anything because he's gut be in the way.
Yeah, and?
Pointing out. Peter Griffin.
Everybody would see.
What you're saying is he's not this guy? Is this what you're saying? You're saying that Cenk Uygur is not the guy with the man with the world's biggest penis?
No, I'm trying to drop subtle hint, yeah.
Yes, he has the world's biggest penis. It's called Anna Kasparian.
I don't know, man.
A couple of things. First of all, okay, for everyone that's watching this, tell me she's not sitting there ready with her mouth open like that. And for anyone who's British will know who Schofield is, and he is praying to God saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." No, the question is why is this man cutting a couple of inches off? Seriously, why is he cutting a couple of inches off his dick? It's only 13.5 inches. My God, what's wrong with the man?
The man claims to have the world's
biggest... Schofield is practicing.
A man who claims to have the world's biggest penis has stunned breakfast TV hosts by showing them an explicit picture live on air. According to the New York actor Jonah Falcon, his penis measures 13.5 inches when erect and has an 8-inch diameter. This guy is not human.
Okay. Yeah, Jenson, look at Philip Schofield in that picture and tell me that is not a look of pure lust.
Oh, it is. And by the way, MC, do show a picture of the man just so people believe this. He's white.
This is the guy.
He's not a black gentleman, which what everyone will probably be thinking. He is white.
Wasn't actually.
Good.
His penis might be black.
All right. While Falcon has said being well endowed had helped him sleep with celebrities, there are downsides like being stopped at airport security when they spotted it hanging down his leg. I once had it hanging halfway up to my leg, and they asked me if I had a tumor.
No, Schofield is practicing not dribbling.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's just every time I see her with her mouth open like that, she is most definitely thinking, oh yeah, there, right there, that picture, right now, she is definitely going, hoorah, right now.
And Philip there's thinking, oh God, I want it.
Yeah.
I've learned that going through security to ball it up so that it looks like a round mass. God help me if I get an erection if I do that. My testicles are proportionally large. I'm handicapped because people won't hire me. Gee, I'm telling you, you're an actor. Yeah, I wonder what kind of acting he does.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if his stage name is Buster Gonad, because it probably is.
No. Buster Gonad has a normal sized penis but unfeasibly large testicles.
Yeah.
This is a natural comic book character we're on about now, MC.
I know. It was purely a British piss take there. But those that either know it would know it or they wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the exact noise that she made after you'd finished as well.
These are real stories, folks. You can't make these stories up. You can't. You can't make this one up either.
I remember reading about him. Apparently he was asleep once. He got a boner in his sleep and clubbed the cat to death.
Are you doing that one? No, not that one. Okay.
Filipino megachurch founder forced girls and young women into sex, telling them it was God's will.
Cough, Moonies. Cough.
God's willy, he said, actually.
Between 2002 and 2018, Apollo carried on Quilabaloy. Kiabloy? I mean, that's the best I can try and do it. The founder of the Philippines-based megachurch. I didn't think they had churches in the Philippines. All right, and his accomplices recruited women and girls as young as 12 to work as his personal assistants or pastorals, prosecutors said. Under Quillaboy and his accomplices orders women and girls prepared his meals, cleaned his multiple residences in the Philippines and the United States, right? Gave him massages and accompanied him trips around the world, court records state. For over 15 years, his victims were forced to devote their lives and bodies to the founder of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name, by writing commitment letters to Quillaboy, said prosecutors. Quillaboy, an ally of the Philippine president who has referred to himself as appointed son of God and is believed to be 71, all right, allegedly forced women and girls to regularly engage in sexual acts with him in what he called night duty. Quillaboy, also known as Sir and Pastor, how about pedophile? All right, I mean, how about sexual predator? All right.
How's about I'm going to fucking castrate you with these 2 bricks?
You know, I mean, I'm sorry, but
yeah.
now I would use the term sexual offender, but as you can see, a state board in Colorado has said that you got to drop the term sexual offender because it has a negative label. No shit.
To have a negative label.
Yeah. He's not joking, by the way, people. This is a real thing.
I mean, it's like, oh, you can't call them murders anymore because that's offensive.
The way sex offenders are labeled is changing in Colorado. The board that sets state standards voted today to change them. The term sex offenders to reflect the so-called person first language.
But you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to go out. I'm going to take a steak knife. I'm going to go and start stabbing people until the police shoot me. That's how bad this fucking world's got.
Yes. It's horrifying, isn't it?
I'm going to kill somebody. I'm going to shout, "You're free! You're free! You're free! You're free!"
It's bad. Okay. It really is.
Derek says that he shouldn't have to carry the term label for life, referring to me as with a label for something I did half of my life ago is inappropriate and downright offensive. Dude!
Yeah, tell the truth. Tell the truth, Derek. It's something you did half of your life.
All right. I'm sorry. You are defined by your actions. Guess what? Some actions define you forever.
Yeah.
If you kill somebody, if you murder somebody,
You're a murderer.
Well, that's an offensive term. I murdered somebody when I was 18 years old. I'm 36 now. All right, that was half a lifetime ago. I shouldn't have to carry that label.
Huh?
Yeah, but you're a murderer. Bang. He's not going to say that again, is he?
At least I'm not a sex offender. I mean, dude, live with it. Live with it. That's part of the consequences, right?
Yeah.
You have to, if you don't want those acts to define you anymore, then you have to do something.
Yes, that's called the sexually over-eager.
Well, yeah, you can't make this stuff up, folks. You wonder why I get so down on the left? This is the kind of dumbass shit that they do. What, where does this? Oh, we made him feel bad. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We made him feel bad. I don't care.
If you don't want, if he doesn't want to be labeled a sex offender on every single case, right? But he has to. You have to live with the consequences of what you've done.
Yeah.
Right. Good, bad, or indifferent. You have to live with the consequences. Right. And learn.
Well,
If you don't want people to first think that you're a sex offender, then you're going to have to do something outstanding to save a bunch of people's lives, where people will not think of that first.
That doesn't matter. No, he's still a sex offender.
No, I didn't say that he wouldn't be a sex offender, but it wouldn't be the first thing they think of. Okay, that's the difference. But you're always going to get
oh yeah, he's a, yeah, but you're still going. Oh yeah, but he's still a sex offender. Oh God, I got saved by a sex offender. Kill me now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask a question.
I mean, come on. If if it was, let's say he was falsely accused and unfortunately couldn't prove himself innocent, right? And that's why he got labelled a sex offender. And then the burning building, he rushes in, rescues some woman, right? 10 to 1, she's going to falsely accuse him of trying to rape her when he was rescuing her.
Yep.
Possibly.
He kept kicking me even though I didn't want it. That was mouth to mouth, lady.
Unfortunately, that does happen. And
Yeah.
if a guy's innocent, that's one thing. And I understand people who are truly innocent and get convicted. It happens more than I would like, because if it happens once, it's too much. From a societal standpoint, it may not be too much because there's no perfect system. But at the same time, yeah, I understand why people, if you feel, if you didn't do something and you've been falsely accused, then that's a separate issue. I can understand that, all right? And getting your reputation back, even in those cases, is sometimes very, very difficult.
Or impossible.
Or downright impossible, because people are never, people are people, right? They're going to believe what they want to believe.
MC, there are cases where men have been accused of rape, and literally all the evidence, including video evidence, has proven them innocent, and yet people still believe that they're guilty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got like the Duke rape case is just one example of that.
I mean, all you have to do is accuse them of something like that, and bam, they're guilty.
Yeah, she accused these guys of raping her, and she just picked these people at random out of a lineup, people that weren't even there at the time. That's how bad it was, and yet they tried to prosecute these kids, even though they already had the evidence that knew that these kids couldn't have possibly have done it, because they had literally video evidence of them being somewhere else when this supposedly took place. And they still went to go to the prosecution, just like they did with the Rittenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have this kind of nonsense.
Is that mattress girl you're on about?
No. That was something totally different.
Because that's another one where it was entirely lies, but people believed her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's repeated like this. But this one, climate change. Right? Dams may help climate change, but harm freshwater ecosystems.
Who cares? They're fish.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do this joke. I'm sorry. Nomad, but it has to be done. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay, carry on.
And I've got something to say here as well, Nomad.
Uh-huh.
How dare you! You're taking my fish. You have stolen my fish supper.
Debate over what hydroelectric dams contribute to the environment, either as useful tools to fight climate change or as an implement of migratory fish and freshwater ecosystem health, is heating up in Maine as officials decide the future of one power generating embankment. The proposed relicensing of a major dam on Maine's Kennebec River has officials and fisheries, among others, once again wrestling with difficult questions about the environment and the future of the region's natural resources. Can I say a word?
Mm-hmm.
Beavers. Just putting it out there, folks.
All I've got to say to you, Nomad, is damn you.
My God. Earlier this year, a company withdrew its relicensing application with Maine's Department of Environmental Protection and Federal Agency Regulatory Commission after state regulators warned that its water quality certificate was going to be denied. All right. According to the Maine regulators, the dam, as it is being operated, is not sufficiently salmon friendly.
You know what it seems to me they want? They want everybody, all us normal people, to be back to pre-industrial technology. Instead, the powerful are enjoying advanced
Federal federal protections for the iconic fish, which first was listed as endangered in 2000, stipulate that 96% of salmon that approach each dam on the lower Kennebec must pass safely upstream within 48 hours. But regulators told Brookfield that they'd accept no less than 99% success rate. It seems like if that's the case, the
wild. Even
think,
in the wild, there is not even a 96% success rate for salmon to get back to spawn. Most of them die before they get there.
Not when there's bears.
Right, even without the predation, most of them don't get back there. They die before they get there.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, if it was up to me, my comment would have been to the regulators. Well, I guess you guys got to go out there and catch some fish and then throw them over the wall. You guys got a job to do because that would be more effective. All right.
They're going to build a fish elevator.
They're going to design a. Can you imagine the fish swim up to this thing? It's like a trebuchet shot. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Fish Launcher 2000.
Yeah, but you're going to see a rapid mutation in the local bears where they can leap really high and fast.
It's the fish
and they carry nets.
Boom! Ooh! That one went a little too far. It made it over the dam though, so it still counts. But it landed in the trees.
Yeah, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have fishermen with shotguns lying there, and every so often you're gonna shot and pull. The fish flop at 9,000. Nice one, Jim.
The fish, they 100% don't make it over this dam. They're just gonna swim in this area, and then we hit the fish cannon.
If we're joking, they may actually be planning this. Just saying.
Right, I know that's a doctored photograph you got up right at the moment, but that's actually, Zombie Joe's wife, isn't it? Look at her. Look at her face. The only other time I've seen her smile like that is being on the proud mother of a special needs child.
Oh.
For those who don't know,
tell me I'm wrong.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, we'll get to the story for the Babylon Bee again, for a parody site. The Babylon Bee. Biden kills turkey he was going to pardon to satisfy the liberal bloodlust.
I've got to say something before you continue. It speaks volumes of the state of the world where you've actually got to state that this is a parody site.
It does, doesn't it?
In the aftermath of the Kyle Rittenhouse being found not guilty, leftists are furiously calling for blood to satisfy their insatiable rage of the progressives who thought that Rittenhouse should have been in prison for life. Biden killed the turkey that he was going to pardon at the White House lawn. I'm shocked and disturbed by this verdict. I'm so spitting mad, said Biden as he held a large axe above the innocent turkey. If Kyle isn't going to get what he deserves, well then, I'll kill the turkey. Biden swung the axe down on the bird's head, causing the gathered liberal crowd to chant, "Blood! Blood! Blood!"
Blood for the liberal god.
Legal experts say the turkey sacrifice should be enough to sate the leftist desire for carnage and mayhem, otherwise known as social justice, for a little while. Leftist blood rage is expected to return when the PS5s are in stock on Black Friday.
No, you can't call it that. It's Friday of Colour.
That's what
the
carnage on Black Friday. This is what the carnage is going to be on Black Friday.
No, MC, I've just said you can't call it that. It's Friday of Colour.
They may change it to that. Don't think I'm joking. This may become a thing.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as we get used to calling them people of colour, they're going to change it back to Negro or something, aren't they? That's what they do.
To be annoying. Yeah, I know.
We get used to what they want to be called, and then they change it. It's a game to them.
It's a game because
No, we want to be
Wanna
called
play.
lemon meringues.
Don't the Asians have that one over? Anyway.
Oof.
Sorry. It sit there. It was waiting for it. Excuse me.
There's an interesting difference.
Now, why
in
is
the US.
just out of curiosity, if you guys, I'm curious, if you guys understand why they call it Black Friday. Why do they call it Black Friday?
No, I actually don't know. Genuinely, not a clue.
Okay. What about you, Batman? Do you know why they call it Black Friday?
I have about almost as much of an idea as Jensen.
Okay. The reason it's called Black Friday is retailers, all right, are normally finally in the black. Okay. When they finally have made a profit at this time, all right. That's why they call it Black Friday. It's also why Black Friday sales can go on, because they've made their profit now. All right, so they're in the black. They can now afford to lower the prices prior to Christmas.
Actually, and I know people are not going to react well to this, but I actually thought that was actually when they were selling the slaves off. I'll be honest.
You really? No,
I really did think that.
No.
That's why I didn't want to say anything, but what the hell? I'm going to say it now.
This is with MC mentioning Asians, but it's occurred to me there's an interesting difference in the use of a certain word between the UK and the United States. Chink or chinkies.
Yeah.
In America, that's a derogatory term for people from Asia, specifically China. In the United Kingdom, that is that is a fast food that Chinese people can sell. It's true, though, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yeah.
The derogatory terms, right, in America are not as derogatory as people think they are, simply because what people try to do is shorten things. That's one of the reasons why, if you call somebody a Yank, do you think that's a derogatory term? Now, you British might think it's a derogatory term, but nobody in America thinks to being called a Yank is a derogatory term.
It's a derogatory term if you're from the southern states.
Well, that's
true. That'd go badly.
Can be, yes. All right.
Yeah.
All right. But
no, generally we don't think it's a derogatory term unless you're calling one of us a Yank.
Yeah, no, actually, he's actually correct there. Yank isn't actually an insulting term for you guys amongst us. It's just a descriptive term.
Yeah, it's like calling us limeys.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was something that was created, okay, by the British, all right, with the whole Yankee Doodle, all right, and Americans immediately took something that was meant to be derogatory, all right, and said, okay, and which is what will you do in America? All right, you want to know the truth of the matter? One of the greatest things is we used to do that all the time. We used to shorten words. People think that calling a Japanese person Japs was derogatory. No, it was a shortening of the term. It wasn't even meant to be derogatory. Just like the British do with instead of calling them Japanese, you call them Nips, right?
Japs. We call them Japs generally.
Well, Nips are another one, but because Nippon.
That's Nip. It's the same with Paki. Paki is not a derogatory or offensive word. It's just a foreshortening of Pakistani.
Right.
Yeah.
So you end up with these things that other people then go, why don't you know? That's derogatory. We used to call the Irish. All right. Now Irish, it seems like it's Irish, right? So there's two syllables, but how are you going to shorten that? No. So what do we call them? Mix. All right, and what do they call each other? Mix. It was never meant as a derogatory. Now, people may be trying to be derogatory in the overall conversation that's taking place, or they might not be. It was just a descriptor, nothing else.
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. She. James Cagney sang that song.
It's one of the things that's always frustrated me when people start going, I find that offensive. Why? All right. Now with chinks, I can understand from the why that is the case, but because quite frankly, it's because the culture took that. The culture did take that as an offense because the way their culture thinks is you're unintentionally not properly pronouncing things. Then again, we can't speak Chinese very well anyway, and they find that offensive. So,
Well, the Chinese, like most cultures in that area, think that anybody who is not one of theirs is not really human.
that's very
And I've
true.
actually been told that by Chinese people,
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a very
anglicized Chinese people, I'll admit, but Chinese people nonetheless,
Oh no, they're like that.
because they have relatives still in China who don't think they're quite human.
Yeah, no, I fully understand that. After 2 years, 2 tours in Korea, right, and talking to the Koreans and everything, they're the same way. It's very endemic in the Asian culture.
Apparently, Koreans are the most xenophobic people on the face of the earth.
I don't know if they're the most,
Wow.
but they are xenophobic. All right.
Yeah. Yes, yes, the Koreans have a morbid fear of warrior princesses.
They do not have a morbid fear of warrior princesses. Where did you come up with that one?
Xenophobic.
It's actually in the Urban Dictionary.
All right. Anyway, back to the stories. Ex-professor fired for allegedly masturbating during Zoom call lecture, and he sues.
There's a lot about Zoom calling for his dickler, doesn't it? Just saying.
What
Don't
gets
worry.
me is this guy is actually suing to get it for what purpose? Dude, you were fired for cause. Okay?
Yeah.
A professor fired from Fordham University after he was accused of masturbating during a Zoom call lecture is suing the Bronx school, claiming that his erectile dysfunction made the allegation virtually impossible. The student
Virtually impossible online,
who
right?
filmed the video is also suing Fordham, claiming she faced retaliation after she turned over the awkward 2020 video. Howard Robinson, 68, was a tenured professor at the university's Graduate School of Social Service. What a surprise.
Right, that's his first mistake.
When graduate student Andrea Morin filmed a video of the teacher appearing to masturbate in the September 10th, 2020 class, the lawsuit states. But Robinson said in September 16th petition that he has erectile dysfunction and low testosterone levels make it virtually impossible for him to get an erection or to masturbate.
Well, that explains why he worked at the university's Graduate School of Social Services.
Morin alleged in her lawsuit that she saw Moran from above the waist and observed him for a period of 1.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes, right, during which he was shaking and breathing hard, saying, "Oh, fuck yeah."
He might be peeing in a bottle for all she knew.
True.
For a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
That's a long ass. That's a long ass. What it was? He wasn't peeing in a bottle. Maybe a bucket.
He might have prostate problems as well. He might have prostate problems as well. Shirati is asking, what is it with people masturbating over video calls? Do you have a problem with that? Often, Shirati?
That can be taken in so many different ways. That's the best part.
Well, let me ask. At no time are they asking this asshole. Okay. Well, if you weren't masturbating, what were you doing here?
Yeah.
I mean, what were you doing when you were doing this? Just what was on your mind? I was thinking about my students. Yeah, I can believe that one.
That's not going to be the right line. Right there. That was your mistake. Never say that. No, Bobby, this isn't Babylon B. This is real. Disturbingly.
Yeah.
Now, Jensen, you asked me a question. You asked me the question was before. If that's your second to last story, what the hell's your last story?
Yeah.
Yes, we're all waiting with bated breath.
Oh.
Terrified.
But terrified is more accurate.
Well, this. Man beaten after catching boyfriend humping their dog. Upon discovering his boyfriend humping their dog, a Florida man was beaten and threatened with a knife by his boy, or a boo, or whatever, however you pronounce that. It's French. All right. Police allege. According to an arrest report, the 58-year-old victim told cops he caught John Miller, 33, engaged with a canine inside their home in Milton, a city outside of Pensacola. Miller and the victim had been dating for approximately 5 years and lived together, cops reported. The victim
This is why I don't drink Pepsi Cola.
The victim said that when he confronted Miller about the alleged November 11th dog humping, Miller began punching him in the head and the body.
He probably thought that he was after a bit of the action himself.
Bark for me.
My name!
The victim's 88-year-old mother, who owns the Milton home, said she witnessed Miller pummeling her son and destroying items in the residence. Miller's boyfriend told cops that before Miller fled the home, he grabbed a knife and threatened to stab and kill him. Dude, this is why you carry a gun, okay? Because when you catch him humping the dog, you don't ask questions. Hey, what are you doing?
Shoot the both of them. Hey, the thing is though, how fucking humiliating is that? Yeah, your significant other cheats on you with a dog,
and then beats you.
Yeah.
And when you go, hey, what are you screaming the dog? What happened to little Fluffy?
No, he walks in. The truth is, he walked in. He goes, "Oh my god, that's disgusting. How low can you get?" And the dog says, "Well, I was desperate."
Yeah.
Rover's just not.
Princess Fluffykins. No.
Rover just isn't the same anymore. I feel the guy should. You should have shot him right there. You walk in on
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
End the story. Why'd you shoot him?
It gives us the problem.
Why'd you shoot him?
Hey, and this.
You got the
And
scene
in a
right
later
there.
report, hey,
Yeah.
see, if you look further on, there's an add-on report that apparently scientists have found out that rabies can be sexually transmitted.
Oh, he was frothing at the mouth. I didn't know if it was the dog.
I wonder why he like chasing balls in the park.
Every time I come home, he sniffs my ass. I never knew what happened.
Whenever you go to bed, he turns around 3 times before it lies down.
Oh, good is it? If it just.
I came home one morning and found one afternoon and found him drinking from the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Well,
but
yeah.
how do you?
I have to wonder why when I met him, he was a member of the kennel club and he didn't own a dog.
But don't call him a sex offender.
No.
Yeah, but he's definitely contortionist because apparently his boyfriend often wondered why he used his foot to scratch behind his ear.
I feel sorry for the dog, right? You know that thing was probably something small, like a Pomeranian, right?
Oh, no, it was a chihuahua.
Yep.
Shirati asks, Batman, can you get much lower? Honestly, be very careful on your answer there, Batman. Just be very, very careful.
I do have access to an industrial digging machine. God. Yeah, God, can you imagine if his boyfriend had been that fucking guy from the, with the penis problem? That dog wouldn't exist now.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. Just wrong, but hilarious.
Miller was arrested and booked into the Santa Rosa County Jail on aggravated assault, domestic battery, and criminal mischief charges. What do you mean? Listen to this. He is being held on $7,000 bond. What do you mean $7,000? This guy.
Well, the other thing is, if nobody claims him by the end of the month, he's going to be put down.
This guy tattooed a teen. $50,000 bond. This guy raped a dog and then beat the hell out of the owner. A pittance.
Hey, he wants to be glad it wasn't the other way around.
What the hell's wrong with these courts in frickin' Florida?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Every Florida is on meth.
He gave a tattoo to a teen who wanted a tattoo. Oh, how horrifying. $50,000 bond. Now, I'm not saying that it was right for him to do that, but to be honest...
It's against the law for teenagers to get tattoos.
Well, you have to
Probably against the law to rape dogs, but you might want to check the law
It's
books.
against the law for a teen to get a tattoo without parental consent.
No, over here it's not. You turn 16, you can get a tattoo whenever you... Oh, please.
They get twitchy at the 16, remember?
Which is why the tattoos look funny.
Welcome to
all that twitching.
Oh my God! You can't make these stories up. These are real stories.
See, you can make these stories up, MC, but nobody would believe if you did.
The mild ones were the Babylon Bee stories.
That's the scariest thing. They were actually the more logical out of all of them.
These days, it wouldn't have surprised me if this guy had beaten his boyfriend up after raping their pet fucking turtle.
Saying nothing, I do know there has been a stream with my dear sister in it, and one of the stories was about a woman who they found a turtle in her vagina.
I still like the idea I came up with, of a nearsighted woman who was addicted to oral sex, nearly suffocating a snake one day.
Oof.
I don't need these stories. I don't need these pictures of my
No.
Right?
And I still like the idea of a nearsighted.
The only real story I did with a turtle was a British story where the turtle sit up there and got pissed off and for Christmas burned the family's house down. Okay.
I am okay with that statement.
Yeah, that was Adolf Kilroy, and it wasn't a turtle, it was a tortoise.
All right.
You're close enough.
Oh, hey, Jenson, you know who Adolf Kilroy is, don't you?
Name's not John. Hold it. Is that actually the name of the twat, Kilroy? Is that his name?
That's the tortoise from the Parishes.
Oh, no. Good God, no. That's way before me.
It's still ongoing, I think. I don't know.
Oh, it ain't, is it? Oh, God.
Let's have a look.
I think I've had enough of the stories today, guys. If you guys got stories, feel free.
I just want to point out that, as far as I'm concerned, Carl Rittenhouse should sue the living hell out of everybody that accused him. And I absolutely and utterly support him for doing that. I truly, not that he's ever going to hear this, I know, but I truly think he should. If nothing else, won't it be fun when he turns around and sues Biden, who said it as well?
Yeah.
Yes, he should. He definitely should sue Biden. He definitely should sue him, especially because of what he tried to do. That you can't let that. You cannot let that stand. This guy's the president of the United States, and he tried to influence the jury.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, he is on paper, at least. All right. There are plenty of people who believe he is. Just put it out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, but most of them voted when they were dead.
It doesn't matter.
Also a true fact. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter to most of these people are brain dead to begin with. Okay,
It is also true.
Yep.
Right? So it's kind of hard to know the difference. All right,
Yeah.
but he tried to influence the jury. He then made an accusation calling him a white supremacist, and that was before the trial. All right, he has come back after the trial and accused him again of being a white supremacist without any kind of evidence ever showing that Kyle Rittenhouse ever has been a white supremacist, all right, or even has those kind of tendencies, right?
So reiterating the lie that Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 black guys. He didn't. They were white guys, and they're all fucking disgusting scumbags.
Just a little point. Again, different country, different rules. But can't Biden just sign a bit of paper and call himself, innocent of these things? Isn't that actually a power that moron has?
Come on, Biden signing a piece of paper.
It's all right signing a bit of paper of someone else being innocent, but the point being, can't he just declare immunity to him?
You're about Biden signing a piece of paper again.
For who?
No. Well, right, you agree that Biden said some things about Kyle Rittenhouse, yes or no?
Yes.
Now, I believe, and I'm willing to be wrong here, but can't the president of your country actually sign an executive order or whatever it is and actually declare somebody is innocent of all crimes? Because that was what they were saying that Trump was going to do to protect himself.
No, okay. That's an overstatement of things. Okay, no.
Okay.
The answer is no. He does have the ability to pardon. Okay, and for federal offenses. So if it's
I understand that.
If it's a federal crime, he can pardon somebody for it. But it's always been a legal quagmire for people to say, well, I can pardon people for crimes for which they have not been convicted yet. Right? They've always looked at that. Now, that has never gone to court. Okay? To adjudicate this. And the most serious example of this was the pardoning of Richard Nixon by Ford, right?
Yeah.
And people were saying at the time that this is you're pardoning him for something that he hasn't even been, quite frankly, officially indicted for, because he hadn't. Right? Nixon was never indicted. Okay. So how do you have this power of pardon? But what it did do is people said, okay, we got what we wanted. Nixon's gone. We'll just let it rest instead of taking that up as a court challenge and trying to go through the process. But the problem at that point was who was going to do this? Okay, because once he left, once Nixon had left, once he had resigned, okay, the legislature, the Democrats in the legislature, they had no dog in the fight anymore. Okay, they don't have the authority to say, okay, we're going to hold a trial and convict this guy of any crime. They don't have that authority. The legislature doesn't have that authority. That then becomes a judicial matter. So now could he have been indicted by the Department of Justice or by the FBI and then brought to trial and everything? Yeah, he could have been. Okay, because he was stripped of immunity, right? Which is effectively when you're president, right? They strip him of that immunity, right? But he'd already lost that then, right? So legislatively, all the legislative aspects of trying to impeach him and everything becomes null and void. This is what, but of course the left, they don't see it that way. Okay, this is why nowadays they think that they still can do things, right? Because they still want to harm people. You gotta understand something. Their intent isn't to help things. The left's intent is always to harm. This is why so many of them were saying, well, even though Trump is no longer president, we're still going to impeach him again. Well, why? Because we want to get him. Well, why? What authority do you have to do that? They are so angry they want to hurt people because they think, right, because they got an axe to grind on them. All right. And when you point out that, show us where the problem is here. Oh, he's just dirty. He's dirty. He's guilty. Everybody knows he's guilty. Really? Show me the evidence of him being guilty, right? Because it isn't there. Well, I heard what he did in the Ukrainian call. I heard that phone call. So did I. Right? I heard what was played too. I read the transcript as well. At no point was he doing that. Well, you got to read between the lines. Well, if I got to read between the lines, it didn't happen. Then that isn't the evidence. You're making it up in your own mind because you're putting things in there, all right, to satisfy your hatred. Show me some real freaking proof. And when you point this out to them, they just go nuts.
MC, people are suggesting there is something up with your mic. Apparently, it's getting very quiet.
My mic is getting quiet?
I'm not noticing it, they are. And the stream status is still excellent, I know.
That's frightening. MC's mic's getting quieter. What? I know what it is. NASA have actually finally managed to activate the booster rockets to move him away from Earth.
Well, I'm looking at my the audio which shows, string, what do you call it? It's a graph that shows you the what level you're at, right? Doesn't seem to be silent to me.
I know, it's not to me either. It's coming across perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'll crank it up.
Apparently...
Would you like it like this?
No,
is this how you want
No!
it?
Hold on a second.
Deaf in both ears? Yeah.
Let me check.
Mm-hmm. I dare to think what you're checking, but go for it, mate. But anyway, well, thank you for letting us know about how it should work. Don't be too surprised if they do try, as if Biden does try to protect himself using that. But if the kid does it via the state, I guess then Biden's in a board of shit. He just won't be able to do it in federal.
What they'll do is and there's always been this point, and this could happen. Right? There's nothing to prevent. All of a sudden, you just went nowhere.
Me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they are actually right. You do sound like you're well, seeing as you, it sounds like you're about 3 miles away from your mic. For an old person, it would sound like you're in the other room with the door shut.
Okay, that's how I sound. Is this what you're saying, Batman?
Well, now you sound.
No, that's what MC. So that's what Nomad sounds like.
Okay.
Well, that must have been temporary because all of a sudden Jensen went the same way. I wonder what's going on.
You know what?
It has to be Discord.
I'm blaming aliens.
Jensen is loudest, then Batman, then MC.
It's aliens.
IMC. Nomad.
Oh well.
Here, is this better?
No, we can still hear you.
No.
It's just the thing, dude. It never changed for us. It's just for whatever reason they're doing it. So obviously it's YouTube's fault. YouTube are trying to silence you by literally silencing you.
It wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me. But I think that we're done for the day, unless you guys have something else you want to talk about.
No, I'm good, Batman.
Right, you lot, sort off, go away, it's finished. Go on, it's off.
You want to get your thing in. Well, thank you very much for being here, Batman. Thank you very much, Nomad, for finding such absolutely fascinating things to listen to. And thank you very much for ladies, gentlemen, or whatever else you want to call yourself, and Jacob, for coming along. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah, go on, sort off.